the first thing is roll call. Let the minutes reflect all members are present, and we'll set the agenda.
President Preiner, staff would like to remove informational item 1, the CARP program update. I know, it's disappointing. Matt, it's field season, and Matt has some
Needs to be out
obligations for monitoring and curly leaf, so we'd like to see that worked in as well.
Okay.
We'll bring him back at an extra meeting.
Anybody else have any additions, subtractions, corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve agenda as
Correct.
changed or corrected.
I second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Go ahead, approve the minutes.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the regular meeting of the Rice Creek Board of Managers Wednesday, May 25th, 2022.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Consent agenda?
Yeah, President Preiner, Board of Managers, staff have 2 applications for your consideration today, both presented without changes.
Okay, thank you. We'll need a motion.
Madam President, I'll move that we approve permit applications 22034 and 22036 for cap rock items for each.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Water Quality Grant Program. I believe this is Molly. Morning, Molly.
Morning, President Preiner and Board of Managers. Today, the CAC has recommended 4 water quality grant applications for you to review today.
Okay, anybody have any questions about the grant applications today?
Madam Chair, I would move approval of the Water Quality Grant Program cost share application number 22-03, 22-04, R22-05, and R22-06.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Madam Chair, I'd say that
that was a little strange.
I attended the Citizens Advisory Committee where these grants were thoroughly reviewed, and once again, that Citizens Advisory Committee does an excellent job of discussing the benefits of these applications.
Okay, any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Open mic. I see nobody in the audience for open mic. If anybody comes in, we'll address it later. And right now, we'll go to Houston Engineering for Ramsey County Ditch 4 repair. Huh?
Thank you, Madam President, Board of Managers. For your consideration is a task order for repair report for Ramsey County Ditch number 4 in Roseville. This is north of the area that was transferred a couple years ago from Lydia down to Lake Little Joanna and then Lake Joanna. And it is the next recommended repair report in your prioritization that you approved by consensus at the workshop earlier this spring. So staff recommends that you
Move forward.
move forward with it so we can keep the momentum going on these repairs and these projects.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
Madam President, I'll just make a quick note here too. This repair report is going to be a little different, or quite a bit different than what we've done in the past with other repair projects, because other repair projects, often the challenges that we have are a substantial buildup of sediment along the drainage system, that sort of thing. This one is definitely in a completely urbanized area. There is actually not a substantial amount of built up sediment along the system. The primary issue along here. Issues are the trees that are located along the system that have done a couple things. They've had a propensity to fall into the ditch, blocking it off at times. Keep the ability to inspect and maintain, keep that challenging, and then it also creates then that canopy that we've also seen recently on that 5362 project in Circle Pines, where it kind of prevents vegetation from growing up along the banks, and you start getting more erosion coming down. So we're trying to address all those kind of issues in it. It's going to be likely a much smaller extent of a repair report than we typically have, and that's really the reason why, is that we're focusing on the trees and vegetation more than anything.
Okay.
President Preiner, I'll just note, Chris, within your estimated budget includes informational meetings. We've seen a history of the public certainly concerned about the trees and their view shed and that sort of thing, so we'll make sure to have that engagement as outlined in the task order.
Okay. We have a motion and a second.
Madam Chair, I would move that we approve Houston's Engineering Task Order 2022-08 for the Ramsey County Ditch 4 Repair Report.
Second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? Any further discussion?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
How much of this ditch system are you inspecting? Do you have a, so is it just from where it's been
Transfer
pipe or culvert now up to the lake?
from Oasis, I'm sorry, President Preiner, if I might, from Oasis Pond, I would think, which is is it Terrace Drive, that goes across and then flows to the north to Little Johanna.
So back behind Northwestern University and
Yeah, and we also will be inspecting the area between Little Johanna and Johanna Lake. So it's really the entire extent of the remaining system that's under the district's purview.
okay.
Because again, recall that we transferred all the remaining upstream portions to the city of Roseville. So this will be focused on everything downstream from that location, all the way to Johanna Lake.
We've done a lot of work on that stretch already, in between the lake, Little Johanna and the other lake. I'm just thinking of, well, I'll have to look at a map and I'll ask you later. But
Sure.
you're right, heavily urbanized. Yeah.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Check register.
Madam President, I move to approve the check register dated June 8th, 2022 in the amount of $66,275.86 prepared by Red Path and Company.
Second.
We have motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and we're going to move one down to Preby Lake Outlet Project.
Yes, Madam President, members of the board, bear with me. I'm going to share my screen here for members of the public. Before we get going on addressing the draft framework for the Preby Lake Outfall Project in Halls Marsh, timely, I just wanted to share with you an update on the construction of the new outlet structure at Preby Lake. We are, I would call it, substantially complete at this time. So I just want to share a little photo slideshow with you. Some of these you saw in a previous memo. If this will move along, there we go. So just as a reminder, where the system is located at, the Preby Lake Outfall Project runs from Preby Lake in the city of White Bear Lake, generally to the east, and discharges through Halls Marsh and then into White Bear Lake through the Halls Marsh outlet structure. You can see the photo there of the old original structure that was built in 1980. And its general location in the northeast corner of Preby Lake. So that structure was obviously in disrepair. We undertook work this spring to replace it. March 1st, work substantially got underway with Peterson and Companies or Pearson Company. And we were able to remove the concrete slab that Houston had identified that was lodged in the outlet pipe. So I got a picture of folks getting that out, which was nice to get that out and not block flow anymore. A couple days later here, we've got sheet pile installed to hold the lake back from the construction site. New outlet structure and the submerged intake is installed there in that photo. March 4th, they've got the rest of the structure in place with the safety grate on top and water level starting to be restored back to the lake. It was a messy site in March. We got rained on. It got real wet and warm on us, which was a problem. We're working in someone's backyard here, too. So it was a little messy. They were great to work with, very flexible with us. But we did have some repairs that obviously were needed there. You can see the condition of their rear yard at the beginning of March. Went back in early May to take a look at how things were shaping up. Again, lots of rock and debris everywhere. So we had some work to do. We had planned to, as with the project, to bring in sod and kind of restore their rear yard. We also made a small addition to the project, a small change order to add shoreline riprap at this location. And the reason being there's a city storm sewer outfall that comes into the lake right near where this outlet goes out. And so during storm events, we can get a lot of scouring and swirling water there. So with the steepness of the bank, we felt that would be best to add riprap. So worked through DNR guidelines, got a permit from the city of White Bear Lake to do so, and that was added on June 1st. You can see the sod going in there as well. Through the backyard, looks great now. I personally went and replaced their garden bed border boards, keep them happy, and yeah, so things are really looking great there. We've got happy landowners. This is some pictures of what it looks like today. The other reason as well, I should add, where that city storm sewer comes through, you can see it's the far structure in this photo. The pipe that comes through there, we only have about maybe 6 inches of cover over that pipe of earth cover. It's very, very high in the landscape. So just again wanting to protect that city infrastructure as well. And this is the view from their backyard to the lake now. So vastly improved from what was there previously, improved functionality. All of that blanketed area you see there will eventually sprout into a native buffer. So we'll have nice native planting there as well once that pops. So again, just wanted to share that with you. We are still waiting on the fabrication of the aluminum stop log structure, which provides us that functionality for water level control, should it be needed for maintenance or otherwise in the future. Do not have a timeline on when that will be available yet, but the temporary weir we have in place is holding fine. So with that, take any questions or comments on that before I move into the primary part of the agenda.
Good job.
Let's make sure to thank the landowners again.
Yeah, they've
That
been.
was huge that they would allow us to do that.
Yeah, it was great, and they were really easy to work with again, and we've got an easement now for perpetual maintenance. So.
Nice.
So, what does the water look like in
Privy
the
Lake,
pond?
Privy Lake suffers. It has some challenges with water quality and clarity. It's a shallow lake. We are already seeing some surface, green algae build up,
Saw that in
as you saw in the photos, which is a little early for that. We're seeing that around the district this year in many places. So we'll see how it goes. We have some ideas for how to improve water quality there. It'll take some cooperation from our partners, which gets into what I'm about to talk about.
All right.
So.
Any other questions on that? Okay, then we'll move on.
All right. So in your packet, and then we have had some supplemental materials, a revised draft framework that was distributed on Monday after the board workshop. I understand we have one additional correction to make to the language in that, but since we have undertaken this project, had various communications with our partners, including City of Birchwood Village, White Bear Lake, and Matamidi, working with DNR. In late February, we hosted an intergovernmental workshop with our partners looking at concerns around the operation and maintenance of the Privy Lake Outfall Project and Halls Marsh Outlet, some of the perceptions that are out there relating to issues, sediment that has built up as a result of the existence of this project, which again was conceived of back in the mid-'70s and constructed in 1980. And as a result of that workshop, I think it was a great meeting with everybody. And our takeaway was to come back and really start to develop a long-term maintenance framework for this project, which has not been in place. And so the idea I've had for that is to generate some sort of a memorandum of agreement with the 3 cities and Rice Creek Watershed District to look at the system itself. There's various municipal inputs that come into this system, and I've got it at a point now where I think we can begin those discussions with those partners on a formal basis to get their input, see if there's any remaining concerns, see how they feel about this type of framework. It would, if ultimately approved down the road, there would be action items, costs for all partners involved, potentially. So it's nothing to be taken lightly. And so in in the supplemental materials, we've got a red line version that I'd focus on as just a draft framework with some terms. Should I go through them more individually? I think we've already talked about this as a board. Again, there's a variety of general considerations and then certain things that we'd be looking for each of the 3 cities to agree to, as well as the Watershed District in terms of maintenance obligations, cost allocation, primarily looking at the end of the day, really it's sediment transport through this system where it builds up at the inputs and down in Halls Marsh. There are some provisions in here for some of the actions would require a drawdown of Privy Lake for maintenance of the storm outfalls there. So we'll be looking for Birchwood Village's agreement on that drawdown and access to Halls Marsh. I think is a big thing for the Watershed District to get in there and do some maintenance. And ultimately, then there's some other testing of that sediment for PAH has been the noted contaminant of concern there. So. With that, I'd take any questions you have. Again, I'd have one note. I missed a strikeout beyond the last line of Birchwood Village's terms there. So the third bullet, the first 2 words of that last line's "to propose," that should have also been struck out. So.
Okay, I believe Manager Waller or
That's what I wanted to know is where
okay.
where we are at the third bullet under Birchwood Village. You want to strike out what?
The very the last line there. It says "to propose."
The entire line goes out.
Just the 2 words. Just the words "to propose."
Right.
Yep. Yeah, it was an error on my part that I missed that. So.
Tut.
And with that, like I said, I believe staff would recommend board, consensus to allow me, others to engage with our partners on this and bring it back in the future.
Question here. Go ahead.
Thank you, President Preiner. Kudos to Kyle. I think it's obviously good that we have the board see this. We've had a bit of history here. I think it might be advantageous for the board, the managers, and certainly for the public to see these areas because it talks about Pond A and that sort of thing. If the board would like, I think Kyle you could use maybe that first kind of map and just kind of show, well, where is Pond A and maybe the municipal boundaries. This is, I guess, I would say the paramount reason that watershed districts exist. Obviously, this one comes with a lot of, happened quite some time ago. We didn't maybe have as much loaded into the discussion, or there was a lot that wasn't officially memorialized, and we do things quite differently today, so we're trying to correct that. And I think for those who may view this later or that sort of thing, like Kyle said, he did the red line. It was posted appropriately so folks can find that, and then if you could tie it together with that, might be a good idea.
Maps are always good. Manager Wyatt?
Thank you. So Privy Lake outfall is still a district facility,
That is correct.
and if and when you talk about a drawdown, who's responsible for those expenses?
Madam President, Manager Wynett. So, fortunately, the cost of doing a drawdown on Privy Lake is essentially $0. It's a matter of it'd be a combination probably, the drawdown would functionally be for the city of White Bear Lake in order so they could get in and do maintenance within the bed of the water body.
So White Bear Lake can do.
Correct. Yes. Yes. In here, White Bear Lake, their storm sewer outfalls that's a purview of their MS4 permit. They need to maintain those sediment deltas if they accumulate. At Preview Lake, it is a public water, and the drawdown we have, because the outlet facility is ours. I have padlocks on the grate, so Rice Creek would be involved in providing access to the structure for the drawdown, but that's just a couple of people going out there for, checking on it periodically. We can do a controlled drawdown, like about 6 inches at a time, so it is a controlled release of water. But yeah,
Okay.
so minimal cost to do that.
Clears it up.
Manager Waller?
Yeah, so the only structure that's responsibility of the district is the actual structure itself, not the pond, correct?
Correct, yes.
And so the removal of the sediment in the pond is the responsibility of White Bear Lake, the city?
Yeah, Preview Lake, that's correct.
And they're also responsible probably for the water quality then too, right?
Well, that's a joint effort, right? I mean, we exist for that purpose as well. So, we've done cost share projects in the neighborhood to help improve water quality in the lake. I would expect the district would consider working on that as well with our partners.
Questions?
Yes, President Priner, thank you. Manager Waller, good point regarding the partnerships that the district has, the potential drawdown, the water quality is, impaired on the state's list. So we do look for our partners to do that. And if I'm not mistaken, we'll need a DNR permit in order to draw the lake down. It takes a public hearing, so while removal of the future aluminum stop logs in it will be of little cost, but a drive out there and to monitor it a little bit, there's a lot leading up to it that the district or its partner will need to undertake and get the job done.
Manager Waller?
And thank you, Madam President. So since this is a public water and a stormwater pond and one of those conundrums that we have, when you're looking forward, if there's ever some discussion with the department as to some kind of separation or new classification or review of the list of what's considered public waters, maybe we should put this one along with many others that we have, because this is not an individual problem, it's a widespread one and needs to have some clarity to it. So that's just a comment, gentlemen. I hope you do that. You see the opportunity.
Yeah, Madam President, if I may, Manager Waller, yes, we've had those sort of conversations in the past with DNR. Fact of the matter is, Preview Lake is a constructed stormwater pond that is large enough and was constructed early enough that it was identified in the state's public water inventory in the 70s. We've had little success in the past in similar requests with DNR, but that could be explored as well. So
I realize that, but this is such a large problem that maybe it needs legislative action on it, and we need to talk to our legislators because we're not the only district that has this problem with this MS4 issue. It's a large metropolitan issue, but not only here, but in other outlying metropolitan areas in the state. It needs to have some practicality to it. I mean, it gives you guys a headache is all I'm saying, is that we need to remove that, so.
Okay. I think all you need is a consensus to move forward.
Yeah. I think there was a request to see the map by.
Yeah, that would be a great addition and would be very easy to add, so I will do that.
Maps are always good. All right. Thank you, Kyle.
Okay.
We're going to move forward. Okay, district engineer update. Chris, anything new or any questions for Chris?
Madam President, I'll just note a couple different items. Last week, the district held a public information meeting on No County Ditch 5362 related to the construction that will be going on. That construction is, again, planned for this fall. I was not able to attend it, but it sounds like it was a very good discussion, lots of input from folks, the public, and we're definitely on track to have a successful project there. Other one I'll note is Long Lake Sediment Basin. There was a pre-construction meeting on that just yesterday, and that is going to be moving forward. There should be work beginning very soon out there, beginning with preparation of the area where they need to dewater the dredged sediment there. So and that's all I have. I can address any questions the board may have.
Any questions from the board?
Did any board members attend the public?
No, I don't
You
believe
ditch
anybody
me?
did. No.
President Preiner, Board of Managers, no. Public informational meeting about the construction through the neighborhood, no. We had no managers attend, but that's
Yep.
not surprising. It was fluid and beneficial, you know, folks felt free to ask their questions and such, so.
Well, I think we were all at maybe the first meetings. Was it well attended
Yeah,
like that?
yeah, we had, I don't have the exact number, 10 to 12
Okay.
folks that attended beyond staff.
And which staff attended?
Ashley, Tom, and myself.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mounds View administrator Mounds View. Sorry. We have 28 communities. Circle Pines administrator, Patrick Antonin, was present along with one of the city council members.
Okay.
Had some comments there in the coordination between the Watershed District and the city, so that was good as well. Yeah. Probably good to point out, obviously at the point of the meeting, the board had already ordered the project, and its functional purpose is to engage the public further outside of the public hearings and such that you've held, where they can have a detailed discussion exactly what might occur close to their property. And even further from the PowerPoint that Garrett provided and did a very nice job from Houston Engineering, we provided slips to gather citizens that were interested in having an on-site meeting and that sort of thing.
Okay.
So that was, I think, well received by the public. One additional thing, and it's, I guess I'd say common in all factors of life, is there was some sort of rumor that was reported by a citizen that concrete pathway would be installed along the ditch. And we're like, no, that's not something the district will be doing. And Administrator Antonin quickly chimed in that the city wasn't intending to do that either. And I'm happy to report that the citizens did not have an interest in that occurring either. We cleared that up. Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Administrator updates.
Just to confirm with the board, nothing beyond what I shared at the workshop, but just to confirm June 20th, 1 p.m., we'll have that workshop, have an introduction with Ellen, Human Resource Consultant, and talk a little bit about district structure.
Okay, manager update. Manager, you want to leave at 9:30?
Yeah.
You want to go ahead, Manager?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Steve? So you're first?
I
Anything on
have
update?
nothing for
Okay.
update.
Manager Bradley?
Oh, I have nothing to add.
Manager Wynant?
As I said, I attended the Citizens Advisory Committee, and there was some further discussion, Manager Bradley, about what you reported a month ago about the Long Lake Sediment Pen. And as you know, we have both economists and engineers on that Citizens Advisory board, and they said dollar for dollar that the clean out of Long Lake had better environmental impact than the rain gardens. So I thought that was very interesting.
Good, okay.
They did the Excel sheet and figured it out from there.
Manager Waller?
Thank you, Madam President. I attended the Washington County Consortium meeting on June 1st. I was a little different interest. They had a presentation from, at the moment, the gentleman's name escapes me, from the University of Minnesota, talking about crops in the state of Minnesota and crop cover. And about half the state the part that's west of the Mississippi River is really the cropland in the state, and 70% of that is generally planted into a rotation of corn and beans. And remind everybody that corn is a native species. So, but we're at the point now where the federal government and the state are trying to have a green program, and so they want to see more foliage planted, and they're advocating 6 different year-round crops. There's a year-round barley now, and also this one at Corenza is quite popular, although Corenza is a non-native. It's an invasive species. And anyways, the point was that Corenza, he believes, this ag extension official, that on a 10-year basis was nearly as the same amount of cash flow as corn was. So I don't know if that's really true or not. He wasn't counting the last year's prices in the average, so that it doesn't give an accurate forecast or comparison. And in addition to that, these days with the changes in machinery, so that corn is now planted in 22-inch rows. It's planted also, beans are not planted by wide rows any longer. They're in 7 or 8-inch rows. And these are no-till machines, meaning there's no tillage. And with the new combines, and the stalks are removed all the way down to the ground, there's only a few inches that are actually left there anymore. So over the winter, we do have a crop cover or root system to hold those soils in place. Now, it'll take some time, of course, for the adoption of the newer machines, but it is happening. They've been around for 20 years now. And so I don't know that, although Corenza is a popular idea, whether or not, looking at the photographs of it after a couple of years, it gets into clumps and not into like a grass continuous. So it's not much different than corn and beans root systems as far as I can see. And in addition to that, it doesn't yield as like corn does. Corn will yield as a green crop chopped for livestock, if we were doing that or something, 12 ton an acre. And this Corenza at the very best, on a very good year, is like 5 tons, more like 2 to 3, and it dies out. So it offers an opportunity, a change, but I'm not so certain that it's going to catch on as quickly. But the federal government is now offering a subsidy for it, so that should help more experimentation to it and more interest in it for the half the state of which 70% is in the corn and beans. So.
Okay, thank you. I do have one thing Manager Wegman had brought up before the meeting. He would like a discussion and maybe at a workshop as to how we got to 75% on all these grants. And because that's...
Yeah, because it's my recollection we were at 50%.
We were at 50, and this was extreme if we did
75 was only if it had beyond
Yeah.
the property's values, or it had some sort of, quote, regional.
Yeah, and I would like a rediscussion on that to see where and how this got here.
If we got here, got rolled on this.
Yeah, so I want to make sure that especially any new staff understands what we're doing. And because actually I had another person ask me, they said, well, why are we paying for that? And I go, here we go. So we want to make sure that we're clear on our motives. And
Probably the same reason we're paying for that $1 million clean out on.
Yep, but
Long way.
this is more personal and it's more individual people, and they want to know why they are paying as taxpayers that percentage. So anyway, just to bring it back would be good, and that's all I have.
President Preiner, sorry if I can interject before the meeting is over. I just wanted to note we do have a participant in the meeting who is on telephone. I just don't know if they had anything that they wanted to share. 612-554-6860.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak today? Anybody? Okay, well, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Thank you, Patrick.
It's Lewis Smith on the phone.
Oh,
Okay, perfect.
Louis Smith.
Oh, gee.
no, then we don't want any comments. Thank you.
I built this one up.
I know, he just attended. Shoot. All right. Motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, Louis.